Hey, what's going on, you guys? Today I want to make a video talking about a topic that I think is very relevant in the cybersecurity landscape. If you guys are new here or you don't know, my name is Garrett and I work as a SOC analyst or an information security engineer in the cybersecurity landscape and in the field. And stress in cybersecurity is a real thing, for sure. There might be people out there, and maybe one of you guys are like this. If you're watching this video, you might think to yourself, someone that works in cybersecurity, they might be talking about stress, and you might be thinking, yeah, man, I mean, you get to sit at a desk all day long, looking at a computer, you must be really stressed. It is very real. To give an example, and basically why I wanted to talk about this, is this past week I had three escalations I had to do in the middle of the night, because right now I'm on graveyard shift. We do rotations where I work, and I had to do three escalations back to back to back nights for different things within our environment. And the most stressful thing can be when you're unsure if something's malicious or not. That's the most stressful. You're going to have, the vast majority are going to be false positives and things that are benign. Those are fine. Those you'll rule out quickly. You'll have blatant malicious things that are easy to determine as malicious, and those are fine and easy too. You know exactly what's going on. It's blatantly malicious. You know what actions to take and whatnot and who to call. The stressful ones are the 50-50 situations where you might be looking at something and you're not sure if it's malicious or not, and you're trying to weigh out different factors, maybe based off of program name or hash or file location or sandbox results or previous history, if any, and things like that within the environment. And you're trying to weigh all these things out to determine if something's malicious, to determine if something is authorized, or if it's just simply unwanted software, that kind of thing. These are real things that people have to triage. Cybersecurity analysts have to triage every night, every day. And when you come across these situations, and especially in my case, there was a detection where I was unsure whether something was authorized or not on some high value, servers. They were on servers, and you're always treating servers as higher priority, obviously, than end users' laptops. It was something that I was just unsure about, and I had to escalate, and I had to do a thorough investigation prior. And, in that entire time, you are just stressed because you don't know if something is malicious or not, and you're not sure if there's actions you should have taken or if you shouldn't, that kind of thing. Long story short, for me this past week, everything I escalated did turn out fine. Nothing got out of hand or anything like that. I handled everything the way I should have. There might have been a thing or two I didn't have to call for in the middle of the night that I could have just left a post for the on-call analyst, but it was one of those situations where I'm relatively new to the role and I just wanted to be very sure and whatnot. But, a lot of those things you'll grow in the role over time as well, and I know I will as well. It's kind of the funny thing about this YouTube channel as I'm growing it. You guys will see me in real time grow in my role as well, because I've only been in this role 3 months now, and I'm still trying to get used to a lot of things, but every day it gets a little easier. But stress is a real thing. Coming back to the main topic, stress is a real thing. Everything that you look at that's not a blatant false positive is probably going to cause some form of stress, because you're trying to make sure you cover all your bases. If you're like my organization, we got thick playbooks, and there's a lot of things that need to be covered, a lot of things you need to look into to make sure something's malicious or not. And a lot of times things get missed because there's so many things that could be covered. Technology is very deep, and you're going to make mistakes and you're going to miss things. And the stress is just about, hoping that the things you miss are on, less valuable assets per se. You'd rather have, some end user's laptop get some malware than a server, a high value server. So just coming off this past week when I had a lot of different things I had to escalate, it made me really want to make this video and kind of just like bring awareness to it that, stress in the field is real. Yeah, it's not physical stress, although it might end up being physical stress if all of a sudden your heart's racing and your hair's going gray and you're aging because you're stressed all the time mentally. But, the mental game for sure of cybersecurity is one where you got to have thick skin, especially if you have upper management that might be breathing down your neck, wanting status reports and things like that, especially if you're in incident response. I'm talking about this from the perspective of a SOC analyst, if you're an incident responder, that's got to be the most stressful gig in the field, honestly. You're someone like me has determined something bad has happened. And I've called you in the middle of the night, and I'm like, yo, I've taken some actions here, but it might be worse than that. And then in the middle of the night, you got to investigate and find out, did that malware spread? Were other users compromised? Things like that. Was lateral movement a thing? And then if that's true, which it might be the case, then you're trying to dig through so many different lines of evidence to try and track down what's actually been affected. And when you're in such a large organization, you can really lose track of where that malicious actor went. So being an incident responder definitely has to be the most stressful job in the field for sure. And it's definitely not one that's taken lightly. And if you guys are thinking about getting into cybersecurity, and if you want to be like the guy, like the incident responder dude, I want to be the guy that everyone calls because of my knowledge and my expertise and abilities and things, it's going to come with this dose of stress, and it's probably definitely going to take its toll on you for sure. Because it definitely, I've only been in the field 2.5 years, and it's already, affecting me for sure. This is something no one really talks about this as a downside for the field. There's a lot of good talk about cyber, which is true. It's definitely a very cool field to work in for sure. I think my job is very interesting. I'm not one of these people that, I go to work and it's just like soul sucking and you're just like so bored out of your mind all day. No, it's interesting every day because you will learn or see something new every day. And a lot of times that's cool. It's nothing malicious. You learn about a new authorized or unauthorized software. You just learn about something new in general, some new technology. You just come across something new. But when you come across something new that's potentially malicious, then, that's when things get stressful, and that's when people get called. That's when people get upset. That's when upper management starts breathing down your neck. And that's when, frankly, it's in those high pressure moments when either it's make or break. Some people do well, and that leads to something like a promotion, or some people collapse, and that ends up getting them fired. So these are all things you need to weigh out. If you're thinking about getting into the field, stress is real. You're probably going to have some dose of it every day. It's not going to be like a job that you might be super comfortable with, that you know everything there is to know about the job, so there's nothing that's going to pop up that's going to surprise you. And if you know everything that's going to occur and nothing's going to surprise you, even if it's bad, it's not going to be that stressful because you've seen it before and you know what you can and cannot do in response to that. In cybersecurity, when you're dealing with the internet and all these different programs and different users and everything like that, it's never ending. All the new things that could pop up and things like that, uncovered things that you had never seen before. So that's the aspect that, at least in my opinion, that can be the most stressful. If it's something malicious, if I know what to do, and I know it's blatantly malicious, then that's not really that stressful. I know exactly what to do. But it's when, it's those 50-50 gray areas, those are the most stressful for sure. So all the tips I can give is, if you are, in my position, if you are in cyber, if you are the dude at night who has to make a determination, that on-call person is there for a reason. They are on call for a reason. Take a breath, do an investigation, do a thorough investigation, because nobody wants to be that analyst that calls the on-call person and they ask you a question and you're kind of sitting there like, I don't really know yet. I still got to look into that. If you're unsure, take 15-20 minutes, really dig into it, make a determination, provide all your evidence, documentation, screenshots, everything like that. And then, if you think it's warranted, make that phone call and try your best not to feel bad about it. I am someone who definitely does. I feel bad about calling the on-call person, but I would rather call them and they kind of be upset that I called them and the company be safe than vice versa. Obviously, you don't call and then the company gets exploited and then you're fired and it's terrible. So anyways, I just want to make this video talking about stress in cyber. It's a real thing. If you're thinking about getting into it, think long and hard about it. Do more research about it besides, this video, obviously, and really weigh those options in terms of the pros and cons of getting into the field. it's definitely a cool field for sure, but I just want to bring kind of like awareness to this because my last week was definitely pretty stressful, and I was like, I feel like I should make a commentary about this exact topic. So anyways, guys, leave a comment down below of what you guys think or what experiences you might have had. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good one.